Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders drawing in thousands of people to the first stops on his Fighting Oligarchy tour, and joining Sanders in Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado is New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The progressive pair are among Democratic and independent lawmakers holding town halls and rallies across the country. Their goal is to capitalize on voter anger to push back on President Trump. This could also be seen as a rift in their party after Democrats are split, and they were on the move on whether to vote for the Republican spending bill in an avoidance of shutting down the government. So this weekend, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying while the party was split on the vote, they have the same goal.
Caucus is united in fighting Donald Trump every step of the way. Our goal, our plan, which we're united on, is to make Donald Trump the quickest lame duck in modern history by showing how bad his policies are. He represents the oligarchs, as I said. He's hurting average people in every way. And we are, through oversight hearings, we're exposing what he's doing, through the courts, which I mentioned, we've had some real success in, through legislation, and through organizing in all the districts throughout the country. So that I believe that because the Republicans are already nervous, you know, a lot of them said don't hold town hall meetings. I believe by 2026, the Republicans in the House and Senate will feel like they're rats on a sinking ship because we have so gone after Trump and all the horrible things he's doing, and they will know it, see it, hate it, and act on it.
But Schumer almost can't go on a program without being asked if he's going to step down because his party is mad. Joining us now is Theron Bond. She's a Democratic strategist and former candidate for the Memphis City Council. Good morning to you. Great to see you. Kristen Welker also asked him if he's doing what Biden did. In other words, not moving aside quick enough. What do you think?
I absolutely think that's the case. I think we saw how detrimental it was for former President Joe Biden to not only enter the race, but then decide to be in the race and step aside way too late in the race. And then now we see the after effects and consequences of such. And I think the same is the case for Senator Chuck Schumer. Sometimes you just have to know what's best for the people and not for your ego and do the right thing. And right now, the right thing would be for Chuck Schumer to step aside and let a more bold, progressive, thoughtful leader step into his place and give us the party the fire and boldness that we desperately need right now.
I mean, they are so angry at these town halls. I mean, just the vitriol that they have. They're saying that they're not acting aggressive enough toward the Trump administration and everything that Elon Musk is doing with all the federal cuts, saying, you know, act the way that McConnell would if he was in the minority. So how should Democrats respond to these calls for them to do more?
Well, for a long time, I said that's one of the main points of contention within the Democratic Party is that whenever we have any ounce of power, we don't do the right thing with it and we don't leverage it appropriately. We want to be quiet and nice and demure against a party and an administration that has completely thrown the rule book out of the window. They're not playing by the rules because the rules no longer exist for them, but they're trying to give us every set of rules possible. And we have to be able to not only defend that, but do it so much that we can get on offense and better represent the American people. And we have to start by listening. What these town halls did was just bring everything to the surface that has been boiling over for quite some time. And if Democrats want a chance in flipping either a chambers of Congress in 26, let alone the White House in 28, they have to get it together real fast. This is an example of the direction of the forward movement of the Democratic Party. And Schumer's got to get on board or get lost.
Okay. I hear you loud and clear. Your thoughts there. I mean, look, this is the biggest crowd that Bernie Sanders says, I think, that he's ever had. 84,000 people, according to him. This is something that should not be ignored. It's really starting to bubble up here. And what's interesting to me is this Fight Oligarchy tour. It's not about Republicans fighting Democrats and Democrats fighting Republicans. It's Bernie Sanders and the talking points that he's had for decades about the top and the bottom. And he continues to say the Democratic Party has left behind the working class. Will Democrats be able to get them back?
I think so, with hard work, continuing to improve messaging, and if they continue to pack out halls and arenas like this? Absolutely. I've been to a rally with President Donald Trump. I've been to a rally with former Secretary Clinton. I've been to a rally with former President Barack Obama. And by far, the rallies with former President Barack Obama were the most well attended. And these were also the ones that had the most progressive leaders attached to it. What the American public is saying that have become Democratic voters, apathetic Democratic voters, maybe moderate Dems, they're saying this looks like the fight that we want to see. Bernie Sanders has been saying it for a long time. Some people just couldn't get past his age. AOC's been saying it for a long time, but how she even came to be a congresswoman put a bad taste, unfortunately, in some people's mouths because she primaried a Dem. And I know exactly what that's like to have a dino in office and then primary them, win the race, and everybody's not so happy that you beat someone in their own party. But what it shows is continued tenacity. My concern, though, is that while Bernie Sanders and AOC are doing well in large crowds with a lot of progressive voters, I'm concerned with how they resonate with the 92%. And that 92% of folks are the ones who are sitting back watching and waiting for someone else to pick up the mantle that they have carried for so long. How are these rallies resonating with them?
Right, and who's going to resonate in 2028 with middle of America? You can't have this extreme on one side of the party typically and expect to win over a presidential election. We've got to go, but I just wanted to mention, too, over the weekend, a poll came out that Kamala Harris is once again the favorite for 2028, and also that the Bidens want back in. They're saying that they are keen to start helping to fundraise for the Democrats again. So lots of interesting things happening in your party over the weekend. Theron Bond, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're out of time. Thank you.